Welcome to Things Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development. As a recording time of 7:32 a.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum could trade $3,745, up about 3.16% so far. As you can see clearly on the overall crypto market, we are bright green right now. Seems like the rebound from the previously 2 days of sell-off, selling us down from the $4,000 mark, hovering just above the 3,850 and subsequently slide to our next identified substantive level of 3,650. And you can see clearly we've rebounded back to more of a neutral zone, right, just in the middle. But we know that collectively, based on our observation and our quantitative analysis that we've been performing for months collectively now, that 3,750 is a substantive level, but not as substantive in comparison to the 3,850 nor the 3,650, right? So it seems like with respect to the overall market right now, we are rebounding nicely. Seems like the bulls are regaining control, right? And as I was looking into the news earlier today, I know it's relatively early right now. It's 7:33 a.m. on the Eastern Time. I woke up around like 5:45 for no particular reason. I just woke up without alarm clock, even though I typically set my alarm at 7 a.m. Because I do want to get ahead of things with respect to work and also get my workout in as well. Collectively, I would say some of the news are kind of a mixed bag. On the crypto side, it's definitely a little bit more positive now. For some reason, it's basically saying that seems like the bulls are regaining momentum. Rebound is confirmed. It's very polarizing, like we always know, right? So media affectation is something that we have to read with a huge grain of salt. And I feel like our sodium intake is getting overloaded on a daily basis. Just, can we take enough of these BS anymore? But we know, using our spidey sense, we can filter out all of these, right? And be, drinking the H2O that we deserve to be drinking to hydrate our body, if you get my drift, right? And on the news front, let's just take a look at it real quick before I dive straight into the technicals. Seems like there are more airlines that are releasing press releases, talk about JetBlue, for example, cuts hundreds of flights through mid-January, expecting more Omicron sick calls from its employees. Seems like the airline employees are sick of working, or because of they want to be protective, obviously, right? And also another news that's supporting what Dr. Fauci has said yesterday, right, based on his observation, and I don't even know if you can even call this research, his medical research. He predicts that Omicron COVID, the wave, right, will peak in the US, just domestically, right, by the end of January. So, not sure how that makes sense, right, because ultimately the COVID AIDS doesn't get delivered by the end of January 1st, right? Not January 1st, doesn't get delivered by end of January as a first step, right? So I just don't understand how that could technically or tactically and logistically at the same time can work itself out when the order is kind of in reversed. You know what I'm trying to say? So I just hope they know what they're doing. Maybe there's a lot more specificity, and I hope that they are getting the hints from the public that we need to be more proactive, not reactive, right? Disease or these type of control type of mechanism, we need to get ahead of things, right? By triangulating different cases of scenarios. Like, what's the best case scenario? What's the normal case scenario? What's the worst case scenario, right? And use that worst case scenario by, I'm not saying you are being, specifically pessimistic or extremely critical, but we are dealing with something that's relatively unknown, right? So it's your job to think in the worst case scenario by being overprotected, right? And to do that is to be, take initiatives to beef up your vaccination aid, allocating more funding, right, ahead of time, not playing catch up when it's holiday, when people are dying and people are suffering, right? That's like basically not doing your job, right? Especially as a strategic leader, right? Maybe Joe Biden, that's his style. Maybe he's more of a tactical, reactive leader. I don't know. Ultimately, it is what it is. That's the current status of what we're seeing in our country and our economy. It is what it is. So looking at the news front, just to do it quickly, the first one is talk about, with respect to barons, talk about the stock market. Even though it's supposed to be talk about Ethereum, it says that the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 looks to a new record. Crypto slides. Seems like this news is a little bit stale, even though it came out like 2 hours ago. Ultimately, it's a technical news. Talk about that with respect to the momentum that we've been collectively seeing so far, with some normalization from yesterday, obviously from the Dr. Fauci and the surging Omicron news that subsequently, hinder on the equity side and obviously on the crypto side. It seems like we're regaining momentum across the market right now. If you look into the pre-market perspective, with Dow Jones up about 0.13%, Nasdaq down 0.1%, and S&P 500 also up 0.2% on the pre-market perspective. So it seems like we're rebounding. Makes sense because of the Omicron, again, BS media affectation, right? And the next one is talk about Bazinga, and this is really much it on the news front. Talk about, with respect to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin continues to disappoint amid extreme fear. These words are really interesting. Extreme fear. We know that we are oversold. We know that on the technical front, we are relatively depleted. But seems like the media affectation are, changing the point of view, the optical perspective for public investors to say that, we are at extreme fear, high greed, under pressure. Like, if you look into the article, you see a lot of keywords that are triggering people's emotions. Is this really fear, right? Is this really greed? So let's just think about what happened yesterday, for example. I know some of my friends actually in the comment section said oh my God, Maurice, I sold all my Ethereum at 3,650 because I was freaking out. They panic sell, right? So the media affectation did exactly manipulated you or whoever actually sold yesterday to do exactly what they want you to do, right? So remember, the media affectation, the publication companies have their own specific agenda. They're ultimately controlled by corporations and institutions, right? And I might get in trouble for speaking the truth like the way that I'm speaking right now, because I'm kind of calling them out. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not calling one specific media affectation company out, but I'm just saying, right, we need to learn to understand and filter out all the noise, right? So enough of the noise, which are aka news. Let's just dive into the technicals. So right now, recording time of 7:41 a.m. on the Eastern time. Ethereum is basically hovering above and in between the 3,850 and 3,650. We could clearly see we were there yesterday. At one point, we even got to the 3,590, right? Which we immediately got bought out because that was really oversold at that time. We were basically drilling oil at the 36 out of 70 at that moment. Even lower, actually, because it got bought up really quickly. So right now, we are reversing up. right? We are slowly covering back up, right? Overall market is reversing because of the, I guess, subsiding of the Omicron news. But something that's still up in the air right now is with respect to the timing, with the, when is the cases going to peak statistically? But ultimately, does that even matter, right? Because ultimately, they could be making numbers up just to influence the market a little bit more, right? So ultimately, as we mute the noise, we know that right now and yesterday were opportune time for it to incur risk. It's the logical thing to do, right? Because we're within the frame that we've been talking about for months. You know what I'm trying to say? So right now is actually not a terrible level to incur risk still. Bitcoin right now in between the 47 and 44, right? We're in between the lines. I think right now it's still not terrible with the 42 out of 70. Obviously, if you bought in yesterday, that was the better level, but right now it's not terrible still, right? I think we are still in the consolidated mode. And people keep saying, or like, I don't know what these analysts are talking about, saying that we'll go to 20K. I really don't see that happening because how much more can you fall when the ground is already close to us? Are you drilling oil to go to the other side of the earth? It wouldn't make quite much sense, isn't it? Dogecoin is up about 4% right now. Anywhere from the 16 to below are still better with the 45 out of 70. So not the best, not the worst, but it is what it is. Dogecoin is one of those meme-like coins, so it's up to your risk aversion. So I personally don't hold any, but if you are, I would suggest like maybe 16 cents to below. Cardano is up about 3%. Anywhere from the current level to 120 is still better level for us. Solana is currently up about 2.14% at the moment. Anywhere from 155, 133 to 113 are still better level for us. XRP is up about 2.63% at the moment. We are in between 88 cents and 78. Again, we got to 78 yesterday, close to approximately. I think the sell-off is still going to be in for it because of the fact that the def cost is still in play. So again, 78 is still a better risk level. 78 to 69 is still better for us. Polkadot is up about basically close to 1% so far. 25 to below is still better level for us with the neutral level, basically around 47 out of 70. ALGORAND is up about close to 20% at the moment. I would not touch this to save my life or save your life. Very over risk. Like I would say, if you talk about extreme fear, this is like very high fear right now. This is definitely some well manipulation. You can see how clearly this curvature is formed. It's a huge outlier into the chart. You can see how sharp we have sharpened up. So whatever goes up really, really fast comes down just as fast. This could just be a well pump. So I would definitely be cautious about this. Anywhere from 135 to below would be better for us. Shiba Inu is up about 1.6%. Anywhere from 2,900 to below will still be at a better level for us. MACTAX up about 3.06%. 175 to 143 will still be better. We're forming a def cross slowly. We're still overbought. Yeah, so 175 to 143 is still better level for us. AVAX is up about 1.72%. 81 to 60 is still better for us. With the basically 50 out of 70, we just formed a def cross, so we're gonna see more sell-off coming. Luna, still very hyped, despite the sell-off that we've seen from the 103. So right now, the 60 out of 70, we just formed a def cross, so that means we're gonna sell down to 62, 52, 45 from here. Respect to elrond, we're relatively depleted right now. I think we're still in a buying level. We got to 235 earlier, so that was the attractive level to identify. Right, despite that, right now at the 249 or 250, if you may, we're still relatively okay. It's not terrible, actually. And with respect to the risk management level, these are levels to identify. I made some revisions here and there. I woke up really early for no reason this morning, just to make sure that we're more teed up. And then with respect to, you could see that we are basically within a lot of the attractive and even steal level for some respective coins here, right? So feel free to use this as a reference. I think despite how negative the media affectation fund is saying, using our spidey sense collectively, we can detect, and using the technicals allows us to bring the logic in play, and then you kind of use that to filter out the noise, look into the quantitative numbers that we have identified here, and then adjust that based on your personal risk tolerance to perfect that execution level, right? And Enron, you can see clearly with the attractive level right now, so it's not terrible for us to incur risk, right? So hopefully you guys have a great Thursday. We are basically a day away from New Year's Eve. So I guess I'm looking forward to it, but not that excited because it doesn't seem like we're really doing much this year. But anyways, I'm always happy to see you guys here. So, and I hope you guys have a great day and stay tuned. Take care. Bye.